A book and author that is vital to understanding this present moment is called Manufacturing Consent, The Political Economy of Mass Media by Noam Chomsky. For those who don't know, Noam Chomsky is a famous American intellectual, an MIT professor. He's been a professor at many different universities. He is a best-selling author, an anti-war advocate. He is a recipient of the Guggenheim Genius Fellowship, and he's dedicated much of his scholarship to ways in which imperialist powers manipulate media so that we subconsciously begin to start just accepting whatever their foreign policy decisions might be. This doesn't just happen through cable news that's funded by billionaires, but also in the way that propaganda seeps into popular culture. You could think of post 9/11 American war movies that position a very specific, often dehumanizing, often racist POV that always positions the United States or Western powers or imperialist powers as the helpless victims to the barbarous, monstrous other. This is done extremely intentionally because when it comes time for weapons manufacturers and hundreds of billions of dollars in funding to go towards moments that are happening like right now, they need you to have preconceived notions about what the other looks like, sounds like, and deserves so that you will be on board with their extermination campaigns. Do not let them get away with this. Educate yourself and understand and be able to spot propaganda when you see it. Recently, we saw what I think is a really applicable example of this when the White House was talking to the press pool and a reporter from Fox asked a question in which the White House representative made a completely baseless and unfounded comparison between those who marched in Charlottesville, the white supremacists, and those who support the liberation of Palestinian people. The book goes into a lot of detail about the 5 key categories of how propaganda media functions. I would sincerely recommend that you read this book, that you share it with loved ones, that you incorporate it into your liberation practice, and that you read the authors who have come after Noam Chomsky. I'm pretty sure Noam Chomsky might even still be alive. I'm pretty sure I saw a video of him on a Zoom call the other day. He is nearing the end of his life. He's quite old. But there are many, many, many authors across many diaspora communities who have written on similar topics. Noam Chomsky is arguably the most famous. But we need to be directly studying media. I know a hot button word on TikTok and Twitter and all the social sites is media literacy. I often find that people who throw around that word have no media literacy, so I don't like to use that word. But please read this book and so that you can spot the signs of when someone is essentially trying to manipulate you or lie to you. This is really important because in war campaigns in the past, notably during the Vietnam War, that was probably the most outspoken Noam Chomsky has been against the Vietnam War, but he has been outspoken against so many ethnic cleansings, so many genocides, so many horrible things that have been perpetrated by imperialist powers, by Western powers. But it's a pretty textbook example when looking at the Vietnam War of how the United States used propaganda to justify the war crimes in Vietnam and against the Vietnamese people. War crimes that extended beyond just the brutalization of men, women, and children, but also brutalization of the land, brutalization of livestock, of the soil. Very much what we're seeing similar to how Israel is brutalizing Palestinians, and not just brutalizing the people, but also brutalizing the land itself. These olive trees that are being set on fire, the ground soil that is forever poisoned by white phosphorus, all these things. So please read this book. Please incorporate it into your liberation practice. Please share it far and wide. And I love you.